Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today is the day that you have not been waiting for.
Wait. Are we recording?
That's what the recording light says.
Okay.
Fuck. Okay. I set this whole thing up so I could start recording, pretend to go get my notes so I could get in the costume.
Before
and
we
just
start,
effed it all up.
I effed it up. But before we start, I have a challenge for you. And you're going to keep this on the thing. My challenge for you is you're not allowed to cuss this entire episode.
Okay.
That surely cannot be for me, Clegg.
Oh, it's for Vanderpool. He's not allowed to cuss.
All right, great. Because I am going to cuss up a storm, especially when we get to A Christmas Wedding Tale.
Oh, that's the best one.
Here we go. Ho, ho, ho. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today is the day that you have long been waiting for because you watched...
Dear Santa, I wrote you a letter, but you still ain't calling. I left my email at the bottom. I sent you 2 letters in early December. You must not have got them.
Wow, dude, you just went straight Eminem up on this Mo Scratcha. Wiki wickety whack because you watched
Whoosh.
Starcrash. Me, Mike Vanderpool, aka Single Guy from your past, Mike Clark Griswold from your present, and from your future, Dr. Love, Alan Barris, here today to talk about Hallmark sexy film time. I mean, they're hot, right? They're hot. Everybody in these movies is hot.
We've got 2 Hallmark movies and then a liar.
See, but I think this is what we're really going to have to talk about. What makes a Hallmark movie a Hallmark movie? Is it the fact that the logo is kind of like faded, kind of see-through, emblazoned in the corner of the screen? Or is it the spirit that makes a movie a Hallmark movie?
It's definitely spirit, which I will defend, since I was the one who brought the interloper in.
But in the fake one, it was a lot of hurt and deceit, versus the other 2, they didn't have a lot of hurt and deceit. It was just situational. So it wasn't anybody doing anything maliciously.
Before we go down on Santa, let's stop here and first talk about the 3 films that we picked. I mean, on these Santa Claus infested films, we picked 3 movies. 2 are true Hallmark movies. 1 is a Hallmark imposter. According to my wife, who is a connoisseur of all things Hallmark, what we watched is not a fair representation of Hallmark present holiday films. So she may be joining us later if we're lucky enough to have a special guest. But if not, we will be able to pull this off. These 3 films, I picked A Christmas Melody, which is a film starring Mariah Carey, also directed by Mariah Carey. Probably the truest of the Hallmark films. I'm going to put that down right now.
I would say so, yeah.
Michael Klink, you picked A Christmas Wedding Tale.
Yeah.
Which is by far the worst of the 3. And Alan, you picked...
I picked Christmas Mail, and that is the one that is not actually a Hallmark movie.
Christmas Mail is spelled M-A-I-L for those of you listening at home, okay?
Yeah, it's not Christmas International Mail or anything like that. Got it.
Yes, don't Google Christmas M-A-L-E. It's not the ho-ho-ho you're hoping for.
Or do, if that's your thing. But
anyway, it's hot as funk in this mother scratcher. I'm gonna take this and
again, we're doing a lot of nice
bit.
Visual things for our audio podcast, but Vanderpool and I both have those floppy ear woolly caps on that you see the people outside wearing when it's cold or when it's fake cold, like you saw. Yeah,
Uncle Eddie from Christmas Vacation. That's who you look like right now. AKA, he's also wearing the Clark Griswold holiday sweater. I got you that a few years ago.
You did, and I wear it every year as a tradition.
Yeah, I can't find mine.
Disappointed.
Yeah, my Merry Sithmas sweater is somewhere in my my possessions.
Nowadays.
Yes.
So, what are we going to talk about first? Which one?
Yeah, when we've done these kind of multi-film episodes in the past, it all kind of starts to run together, which, it's my job as the host to try to keep that separated. I'm not very good at my job, so I'm going to rely on both of you to do that. Alan brought up something in our chat prior to this that we should maybe define what a Hallmark movie is first and then use that as a little bit of a way to talk about these things. And maybe we'll start with, which ones did you guys watch first?
I watched Christmas Mail.
Me too. That was my first one.
I started with A Christmas Wedding Tale.
Yes,
because I knew
one.
it would be the most painful, so I did it first, and boy was I right. I actually think I watched these in the appropriate order because Christmas Wedding Tale sets up the Hallmark genre done very, very, very badly. I mean, it's hot garbage. It's so bad. Santa's Summer Home is actually better than this shit. I mean, it's really, really bad.
What's Santa's Summer Home?
Yeah, what the hell?
Santa's Summer Home is a terrible movie that stars Cynthia Rothrock and a bunch of other like washed up action stars, and they're stranded at a porno mansion somewhere in Orange County, and they end
What was
up.
the title again?
It's Santa's Summer Home, and they end up.
Nice.
So right when you said porno mansion, I could see Vanderpool's eyes light up.
Yeah, there was a MST3K episode. Well, actually, Riff Trax did Santa's Summer Home. Then they did another movie that was shot at that place. It was A Talking Cat is shot at the same place, as are a few porn movies.
Nice.
Is a very distinctive house. Let's just say that.
So I think that we should talk about A Christmas Melody first because it is the most Hallmarky of the Hallmark films. And in my opinion, the most boring because of that. I mean, the Hallmark films aren't honestly that great. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about.
It's boring because it's competent in this case.
Yes. I mean, I have barely any notes on A Christmas Melody, and I've got like pages and pages on pages for the other two films.
I have way more notes I have way too many notes for all of these. So,
Alan, as our resident doctor, would you be able to help us to define what a Hallmark movie entails? What are the parts that make it a whole?
Thanks, Clink.
all of them are in the category that we would call melodrama. And most fit into the category of, I guess we'd say, almost romantic comedy, but not very funny when it comes right down to it. There might be some goofy moments, but these are primarily romantic movies about the pattern seems to be, and you two can correct me otherwise, but a person comes to a small town. It is usually the woman coming back to a small town. Sometimes it is the town in which she was raised. Sometimes she is drawn in by another family member, but she is always drawn in by failure of some sort. These movies are about recovering from failure. They're very much like the Venture Brothers in that respect. So the entire, it's all about trying to make up for failures of the past. So the woman comes to this small podunk town. It always has to be a podunk town. And they...
Watch what you say about Ohio.
No, it's fine. It's true.
A podunk state. And then they, after being in podunk town, they begin to develop an attachment to the town, generally because they've developed an attachment to a chiseled-jawed, boring guy who lives in the town.
Single guy from your past, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So, and in A Christmas Melody, the boring chisel-faced guy is actually probably the most interesting out of the three, too. And let's see. So then she gets offered an amazing job out of back in the city, and she has to make a choice as to whether she's going to go back to Babylon or whether she is going to stay in Podunk, and she will decide to stay in Podunk. And she will surrender her career in the process because apparently, no matter how awesome that career is, it does not allow you to buy plane tickets or to visit people or to transplant parts of your family out there with you in a palatial estate or anything like that. You always have to stay at Podunk.
We'll talk about that because I did some research because that one movie kind of did make me mad a little bit. But
Which one?
the Wedding Tale
You
one.
can't just say that.
The Wedding
Oh,
Tale.
okay.
The Wedding Tale one did.
For
obvious reasons.
When Jenny Garth's character becomes the curator of the Museum of Modern Art.
No. It's MoMA, and then they say MOCA, and then they say MoMA, and then they say MOCA. Those are on two separate sides of the country because they kept going back and forth. Anyways.
Kept saying MOCA, but anyway.
These films are traditionally a fish out of water type story is what it is, right? City girl comes back usually to a small town, has to deal with a little bit of that. There's
Not
also
Hollywood, sorry.
There's always, at least the ones I've seen so far, these three all have some child involved, whether it's the one child, two child, five children, whatever it might be.
All the spouses are dead.
Santa. Yes, spouses are all dead. There's lots of dead people.
No divorces.
There's no such thing as divorce.
Nope.
You just
Yep,
die.
everybody's dead. Santa shows up in all of them. There isn't always snow, though.
Well, that's because one of them was in California, yeah.
Yeah.
They were in Ohio, so there was fake snow on actually leaf trees in Christmas Melody.
And I talked to Jackie about this because, again, Jackie watches Hallmark movies like every Christmas when she wraps presents. So, and she wraps like you wouldn't believe, almost as good as Eminem. She comes in, and you know, I am watching this to say that, oh, there's the obligatory almost black friend or associate, whatever. And she's telling me now that that's not necessarily as much of a trope as the films we watched were early, 2011, 2019, older than some of the more modern stuff. But yeah, all three of these had some racial issues, if to put it
I think you're
gently.
I think you're safe in saying that, considering that they featured the problems of almost universally white people.
What? So was Christmas Melody? Because I could see the other two, but not Christmas Melody. Actually, I couldn't even see that for the Wedding Tale one. It would mainly be for Christmas Mail.
So,
right?
The Wedding Tale, which is the one with the dogs, the TAIL. We need to spell all these words, right? TAIL. Yes. The couple meets because the dogs are telepathic dogs who can talk to each other without barking. It's this amazing scientific discovery. Run into each other at the park, and that's how the happy couple meets. Is the most racist of all of them, but it gets away with it because it's racist to everybody. In the montage scene with the wedding planners.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
The African-American woman in it stands out the most, but they are honestly picking on anybody and everybody in that scene, which makes it okay, I guess.
Oh my God, they're so smug during those sequences. That's why I hated this movie so much. The male and female leads are so smug.
I imagine that they were sitting 4 or 5 feet away from the guy that the person they were talking to, and the entire time they're making full volume comments to each other. Like, it's not a whispering.
They're being total assholes to everybody.
That's horrible.
And that is Jenny Garth.
Yes,
plays the lead, Susan, and Brad Rowe, who plays Jake. I think that's another characteristic is most of the male love interests have a 4-letter first name. Something very short. Brick.
Yeah.
Rocky. Danny. Yes, that's not 4 letters, but you get what I'm saying.
And
very American.
So A Christmas Wedding Tale is the worst out of the lot because nobody has any personality at all in this. Everybody is reduced to a single everyone is reduced to a single character trait, especially the kids. They're the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
But nobody has, like, there's not even the illusion of depth. Tom Arnold as the asshole agent is probably the only person who's even trying in that movie. And he's not trying very hard.
Only redeeming part of this film is Tom Arnold.
Jay Mohr is awesome. Who plays Rusty?
Jay Mohr.
Jay Mohr.
Jay Mohr voices the dog, yes.
He's awesome.
Are you seriously going to make an argument for that terrible the terrible dog acting in this case?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
God.
I am.
I was still very upset that the dogs didn't bark when they talked. The dogs are telepathic, and that just took me out of this whole thing. I couldn't believe any of it.
I was about to accuse you of being taken out of the scene by the dogs not barking. Telepathic dogs is too much.
Have you ever seen Homeward Bound or Milo Notice? Any of those movies? No. They don't bark or meow. They just talk to each other.
No, Lassie tore my heart apart, and I stopped there.
Okay. So
there's only so much pain a man can take.
Are we going to talk about Wedding Tale right now? Is that what we're doing?
We have been. Like, where have you been for the past 5 minutes?
I'm just because I have a question for Alan. So Alan, you are an academic, right? You're a PhD. You're a doctor. If you were looking for a job, would you hire a headhunter person, like an agent?
If it was Tom Arnold, I got to be abused by his bumbling. Sure, I mean,
but that's not a thing that people do, though. Like,
but no, but Jenny Garth's character is like a museum curator. They must live an entirely different ring and she only has a master's degree on top of that.
She has two masters, but still, that's not right.
Yeah,
that's still not the same as a doctor.
Yeah, she is not in my exalted sphere.
Exactly. But I looked it up. Okay, so this is where I did my research. I looked it up, and the curatorial director of MoMA, she has her PhD, and one of the curators, the average curator makes about $84,000 a year at MoMA.
Okay, so not as
much.
Princely. Yeah, not as princely as some, I would think. Yeah, especially when you adjust it for New York or LA and other.
Yeah. So, but again, they kept saying MOCA and MoMA. MOCA is in California. MoMA is in New York. I know that they had the interviews through MOCA, but he kept going back and forth between it.
I'm sorry that ruined it for you, Clink. But
no, that's not the only thing that ruined it.
So Clink, do you know what ruined this movie for me?
When it started,
as soon as Jake reveals that he runs a winery, and as soon as I realized they're having a wedding, every time they started talking about venue, I started yelling at my screen, "You have a beautiful winery. Why are you even wasting your time with this bitch at the country club who hates your dogs? Why?"
So I was watching it with Katie,
anyway,
and she said after a while, because they lost the venue, she's like, "Wait a minute, why don't they just do it at the winery?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know.
See,
yeah, exactly.
My point." Yelling at the screen the entire time.
Well, isn't though that something that we see in all these films is, well, no, I guess we don't in the Christmas Meal one, but a bitchy female, for lack of a better phrase, right? So Mariah Carey plays kind of that bitchy antagonist in the Christmas Melody. Here, we don't necessarily have that directly, but we do get it twice. Argumentative, angry woman, whatever, at the country club who says you can't bring your dogs, and then when Jenny Garth's character is shopping for wedding dresses, the clerk there is very dismissive when Jenny Garth Susan can't afford the high dollar dress.
Yeah,
and maybe that's there as a foil to make the woman look even better in the eyes of everyone.
Another thing that brought me out of the movie was the wedding itself at the end and at the beginning. The bride and groom are facing the nice view, and everybody else is facing the parking lot. So behind the bride and groom are the parking lot. And I'm like,
those make nice pictures.
You just flip it around and you have the nice view, and you don't have to worry about people seeing the parking lot. But yeah, it just like, wow, that's a bad view. Like, why would you do that?
So I have a question. What kind of a-hole gets married at the holidays?
Right?
And at the drop of a hat too. So funny story that almost the exact same thing happened to our entire Canadian audience, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Happened to her dad, actually. His second wife, who shall remain nameless, although her daughter
We kind of know who it is then.
is like a C-list celebrity. But anyway, so Jim's second wife, they insisted on getting married over Christmas, I believe it was. It was either Christmas or Easter, I can't remember which. And they also could not get they had a really hard time finding somebody to officiate. If I remember right, they ended up having to rely on a Lutheran, which our Lutheran pal Tom was thrilled with because he had someone to talk to at the wedding. It was awesome.
Was a Christmas wedding tale? Was that the one where the Santa said he could officiate?
No,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because during the wedding planner scene, right?
Yeah.
Santa's there and says, "I can officiate," and the other character says, and I think it's interesting because this is a Christmas wedding tale. Yet the only thing that makes this a Christmas movie is the fact that they're going to get married at Christmas, and I think a lot of that, because it uses that like wedding as a little bit of a bookend, right? As a narrative bookend,
which was not good.
They forget it's even Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
Like throughout the whole movie, you don't even think it's really Christmas. This is almost like the Die Hard of Hallmark movies. It's just because it happens at Christmas that they're going to call it a Christmas movie.
Oh, whoa! Why?
I did that.
Why you got to bring Die Hard in this? That's messed up, man. I just did that. That's a holiday. That's a holiday tradition from my family. I don't know what you're talking about.
So we'll move on because we don't want to talk about Die Hard.
Fighting words right now. I'm just saying.
But like this movie isn't a Christmas movie. It's set at Christmas. There's no story. It thinks that hijinks are stories. I think that's where the big failure here is.
And it misses the opportunity for any number of potential conflicts. My notes are filled with, is this going to be the conflict? Nope, guess not. Are the dogs going to ruin their relationship now? Oh, I guess not, and so forth.
Can we talk about the dogs for a second, though?
Yes, let's talk about dogs, because there's a glaring problem here as well.
So, Vanderpool, you have kids, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you have a dog, correct?
And a dog, and a cat,
I knew,
and two birds and a fish.
See, I didn't even know you had, what, you have two birds? Seriously?
My daughter does, dude. My oldest daughter. Girls and their animals are dumb.
The fact that I only knew that you had a dog because I came over to your house, but I knew you had kids well before I came over to your house, means that you actually like talk about your kids and bring them out to places, right? I have two dogs. I don't have kids, but you probably didn't know that or care because I don't bring my dogs everywhere. I don't take my dogs to
literally every place you go, like
exactly
our protagonists did in this movie. And then
there's no point.
Surprised when people were upset that their dogs ruined their stuff or wrecked their bakery or otherwise created shenanigans.
Yeah.
The dogs are the reason they're together, guys.
I understand that, and the dogs are the best part of the movie.
No, they're not. They're the worst part of the movie because we don't know how the dogs fell in love.
They fell in love through proximity, okay?
So Clig, when you are in a relationship with somebody who has a pet, does your pet need to fuck their pet? Like all of a sudden?
I don't know how that works.
It's the time of the year, Alan.
Do they
that's how
date?
thing works.
Is it Stockholm syndrome? Is that a thing? That the thing where the person feels for the captors? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just proximity to the person, right?
Okay.
You have the person A and person B. Person A and person B, or animal A and animal B, are forced to be together to the point where they get used to each other, and then after a while they, maybe develop feelings for each other. That's probably how it went.
Well, Rusty and Cherie are clearly boning here. They're clearly in a dog relationship. But we don't know how that happened because they hate each other at first and then suddenly they like each other.
No, Cherie hates him Rusty is all about that. By the way,
Right.
we don't know if Rusty and Cherie are fixed. Everyone should fix and spay and neuter your pets, kids, because that's important.
Thanks,
Bob Barker
Bob
told us
Barker.
that.
Spay and neuter your prets. Let's try that again so we
Your
can edit
prets.
that.
What's in that drink you're drinking there, Clay?
Yeah.
It's cherry rum, regular rum, and Coke.
All right.
all right.
The podcast that drinks together stays together.
Exactly.
So speaking of Spain and neutering your pets, we kind of forgot how we set this whole thing up, but because you watched Starcrash, I watched Starcrash one night. Long story short.
Wait. Do you remember, Vanderpool, when you called me up and you said, hey, you should watch this movie? And I said, okay, I'll watch it. And then, remember, Alan, Vanderpool called you up and we were like, hey, let's watch this together. And it was crazy. And we just started this whole thing. And it was just like, we had this common interest of old bad movies, and just the way that Vanderpool, you kind of brought us together. You had this podcast set up. It was amazing, and I'm glad that we have had this backstory to talk about, like normal human beings and not forced at all.
Because you watch Starcrash is a podcast where we talk about WTF moment. We do quotes.
Just ignore
We
them.
also talk about whether or not these films are successful. I've got my first WTF moment.
Okay.
All right, what?
Actually, my very first, I'll do my two for right now. My very, very first WTF moment was when I was trying to search for these on Amazon. Because when you start typing in A Christmas, holy F and F,
Yeah.
a list 3,000 freaking miles long comes up. Number two, in A Christmas Wedding Tale, family gets together to have Thanksgiving dinner near the pool of the male lead, Jake. And mother is there, the kids are all there, and hijinks because they trip and this and that. And there's a mouse, and
Yes.
it's a pet mouse. And
Very clearly a rat, by the way. But anyway, continue.
the pet mouse rat is has a name Bridget.
Yeah.
But then Jake, when the mouse starts running out, says, "Here he comes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the fuck? Bridget's not a dude name."
Vanderpool, it's 2023. I don't know why you're hating.
This
you gotta
movie
be open.
is not 2023. This
No.
movie is
Clearly
2011.
Clearly the kids named it before they figured out it was a he.
But it is California, so you never know.
Is it California?
Yes, the first one's in California. It's sunny all the way through, for crying out loud. The guy owns a vineyard.
No. It could have been like Arizona or Colorado or something. You don't know. Nevada?
It's all California. Always California.
Okay.
It's California because they were lazy.
I liked how A Christmas Wedding Tale, I will say this, there's one really good redeeming quality when it comes to, because this is my background in film, I think about things filmatically.
Yeah.
Great word. I liked how they handled the exposition with the parallel shots going back and forth between her and her mom talking about the relationship and setting stuff up, and him and his creepy friend, who definitely wants to bone Jenny Garth. I thought they did a good job of the whole exposition there.
I thought of him as discount Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, so this guy, Jake's friend, works as a cook at the place where they obviously don't have enough staff to serve a wedding.
To do much of anything, really, as far as I can tell, because he's what, the cook? He's the guy who rolls the barrels around. He's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't he a bar back then? Is that what that is?
But he's also the lead singer of the band, right?
I don't work at a winery. I don't know who rolls the barrels around.
Well, okay. If let's say he's a wine back, whatever, was stealing a barrel of wine, and so Katie was like, "Is he stealing? Did he just steal the whole barrel of wine?" Like, yes, he did. So the dialogue that you were talking about, though, Vanderpool, I always like that when I see that in movies because it's parallels and you can tell what's going on. It seemed a bit weird. Like editing could have been a little bit more on the nose or about it, just because other movies I've seen it done well. This wasn't done as well, I feel.
of the three films that we watched, this one was the second worst or second best.
Best. Thank you very much.
When it came to editing and the shot framing and lighting.
Yeah.
The Christmas Mail one was by far the worst in all those regards.
Yes.
And A Christmas Melody was the best.
What? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, it's got a lot of people in it, though, which is weird. All these have actually a lot of people in it.
Well, A Christmas Mail starred Ashley Scott as Christy North. Spoiler alert, Santa's daughter.
Whoa. We don't know that. There was a wink and a nod, but we don't know that. What are you trying to do?
Stars A.J. Buckley as Matt Sanders. Lachlan Monroe, who I thought I've seen in like 3,000 other things.
I thought he looked familiar to me too, and I couldn't place him.
He was in some college movie where he was like the big drinker guy, type guy. I forget what that was though.
Yeah, I could definitely see
some sort of mainstream college party movie.
Guess I could see that.
We also have Rolanda Watts as the token African American woman,
and that was pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when it's a coworker and they're in there for like, it's just, yeah. And then Piper Mackenzie Harris as Emily, the precocious redhead who works her magic to bring them all together.
What was up with the lady, the band lady? Like, first off, she's one of the singers because she can't sing. Sorry.
Okay, keep going.
And then she's friends with, is it Matt? Is the guy's name Matt? Mailman Matt?
Yes, Matt Sanders is the mailman.
Okay, so Mailman Matt, she's friends with him. She's kind of hot. And then he's like, oh, she's a friend. Ha, ha, ha. So I'm guessing like Carlos, the friend, is the one that she's dating?
Do you know what my theory is?
Go ahead. I have a couple of myself. Go ahead.
You already know what my theory is.
Go ahead.
I don't actually know what your theory is.
You know what my hope and dream is.
I don't know what that is. Tell us.
I'm hoping that instead of going to the North Pole, she goes down to the South Pole.
Wow. That's a quality innuendo, Clay.
Thank you.
Come on.
I have a theory because the way that Matt was talking about his band days where he got burnt out from the road and touring, I have a theory that was it him? No, I'm sorry. I'm mixing these all up now. It wasn't him. It was in A Christmas Melody. Never mind. Anyways.
So, wait, no, Matt. So, in A Christmas Mail, we're talking about A Christmas Mail, which is, again, another kind of fish out of water story. Christy North arrives in a small town. She bumps into Matt the mailman, who has is it his daughter? Is Piper?
It's a niece. His sister.
His niece,
yeah,
who he inherits from his dead sister.
Oh, she died? No, really? Didn't know she died.
Because nobody gets divorced or abandons anybody or goes out for smokes 20 years ago and never comes back. It's all about
that would be a great Christmas movie. So and then Christy ends up working at the post office answering letters from Santa. Great job.
Yes.
Great job. And
on a special assignment apparently from the Postmaster General.
Yes. And
yeah.
It's good to know our tax dollars are going to such a worthwhile enterprise when the post office is slowly being strangled.
Alan, I don't know if you watched the same movie I did, but it's a great use of resources because we have somebody that's from the North Pole answering for Santa. Even I could tell that 13 minutes in because I paused it and looked and like, oh, it's 13 minutes. I know what's happening because I'm smart. Yeah. She's from this is Elf 7 years later.
And then the conflict is that the head of the local post office, Richard Fuller, played by Lachlan, thinks she's there to spy. And then that inevitably sets up the, what do you want to call it?
Betrayal.
Yeah, the betrayal part where, oh, you were spying on me, blah, 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 but I really loved you. Yeah.
This is the most tragic of all three because you actually have some actual conflict instead of a wedding tale when She was going for an interview and didn't tell him, and that was the conflict. That's it. This is actual conflict where, hey, this is taken out of context, but he recorded it somehow anyways. So now there's conflict there. I don't know if she's going to like me. Oh, no, she needs to come back. Oh, no, I'm leaving. That was actual conflict.
I love how you were like stuttering there in the shot, at least on my end. It looks like robot that. Santa Claus and the Martians. Go back and watch that one. Previous holiday special that we did. Yeah, this one did feel like A Christmas Mail did feel like the best script other than the contrivances. Like, she did not have to be walking on the street and bumping into the mailman that she was going to go work at later. But I guess if she was walking to the post office and he was leaving, I guess it makes sense. But it just still felt a little forced.
A forced meet cute. When the hell has that happened in a romantic comedy?
Well, and the thing is too with that, he said she lied to him. She lied to him. When he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was a mistake," and then he said something like, "You lied to me." Something about that, but she didn't lie. She just omitted the truth. And kids, lying and omitting the truth, those are two separate things. So it's fine.
And that was relationship advice from Michael Klink, everybody.
Doesn't this one flip the script though? Because isn't it the guy that gets the offer to go back out on the road?
Yes.
So it does
and you will notice that he gets the opportunity to go on his life-changing tour and be in a relationship, whereas in the previous two movies, we had to have the woman reject that once-in-a-lifetime offer in order to stay in Podunk Nowhere.
It was funny, too, because Katie goes, "Oh, yeah, the woman always gets the job, and the guy's always whatever." And then I'm like, "Yeah," but then she gives it up. She's like, "Oh, it's not progressive anymore then."
No, it's not. Definitely.
Wedding Tale was written by three men.
Oh, wow.
Surprise.
Wait. Let's dwell on that for a little. 3 people wrote that movie. 3.
Yeah, WGA is weird when it comes to writing credits.
Oh, okay.
Because it might have actually been just shared for points for insurance purposes, in all honesty.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. That's good. That's better.
A female wrote A Christmas Melody, and a female and male partner or team wrote A Christmas Mail, which was interesting.
Wait, are you sure a female wrote A Christmas Melody?
Yes, it was written by Jennifer Notas Shapiro. The worst part of A Christmas Mail for me was the cinematography. The horrible lighting, the lack of depth of field. I couldn't even believe it was a movie because it looked like Galaxy Lord green screen. They must have shot with like a crazy ass lens to be able to make like that depth of field just be that wide.
Yeah, because I thought that when Fuller was walking, the manager, the boss that was kind of the mean guy, was walking up in the factory, it looked like a green screen. And even Katie and I both said, that's a green screen. And then he walked into the green screen because it wasn't a green screen. It was the actual factory. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, what the hell?
Well, the factory's
like,
a post
why
office.
Is it shot like this?
It's post office, right?
Okay, so also with that, are people allowed to use the post office logo and the post office like facilities to film it? I didn't think that was allowed.
You know what's interesting? I don't know, because we technically own that, right? Like as taxpayers. I mean, that's our stuff.
Well, it's not a government entity. It's a separate business. No, it's separate.
Is that why there's a corporate headquarters? I was confused by that. I'm like, the post office has a corporate headquarters?
Yeah, so they don't get tax money. They get money from stamps and all this other stuff. From what I understand, I don't know if that's true.
I think you're bullshitting us.
Oh, you went it's 42 minutes and you've the
other thing that they do in a Christmas Mail that pulls you out of it is they cut on the dialogue instead of letting what they do it in better movies. You do what's called a J cut, where you've got the visual and then the audio when people are speaking kind of goes underneath it to blend the cuts and mask the cuts a little bit. This is so cut on the dialogue that it's just like, yeah. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a movie. This is Galaxy Lord's level of bullshittery.
Did you feel though that the editing, the way it was they didn't have to be on set at the same time when they were
I
talking?
didn't notice that so much in A Christmas Meal. I did notice that in the first scene in A Christmas Melody with Mariah Carey. Because they were in the same place at the same time for at least part of that. But I think Mariah Carey's acting was so bad, they had to shoot pickups and had to actually just have her in those reverse shots.
That I would not be surprised by.
Mariah Carey cannot act, and the fact that they didn't even have her sing in her own movie, that's like weird.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Are we talking about that
You
now?
can.
Okay, because it seemed like it was similar to, but a little different. But Mariah Carey directing herself in this movie and making herself look not the character, but herself look nice, was similar to William Shatner directing himself in Star Trek V, Undiscovered Country, or not the Undiscovered Country, the final Frontier. But he made himself good. He made himself the actual hero, though, and she's the actual villain, which is weird.
Speaking of villains, so Jackie Vanderpool is my lovely wife of 13 years. And we have Jackie here today specifically because
Hi, Jackie.
Of all of the people I know who know Hallmark movies, Jackie knows the mostest. And she schooled me last night. I was being a little bit of an a-hole last night watching this. I was being very condescending about the genre. And she reminded me that if I want to get laid tonight, I should probably not be so mean.
Which months ago, but
Months ago.
You said, I can quote what you
What
said.
did I say?
I was like, I don't know. You were like, oh, you watch this? Women are effed up. And I was like, well, leave it at God.
Well, crickets.
So, Jackie, earlier in the episode, we were talking about what makes a Hallmark movie. Can you enlighten us, please, since you're the expert?
Woman has to go hometown. Single guy from her past is error, whether she remembers or not. There's a job that comes up that she has to take or leave. That's been her dream. Sometimes there's a kid, sometimes there's not. Happy ending, Santa Claus. That's about
Now,
it.
does that continue to the present?
Is that what was that?
Because we talked about the films that we watched were like older, 2011, 2019.
Yeah.
We talked about a little bit of the racial stuff that seems to be a little bit, very, very white bread. But you, as a connoisseur of these films, how have Hallmark movies evolved from what we watched to now?
They're a lot more, because I didn't watch them in the old days. I probably only started watching them in the last 3 or 4 years when I put them on when I'm wrapping my Christmas presents. And then I drink peppermint tea and wrap presents. But watching the old ones versus when I started, they're a lot more diverse. There are interracial couples. There are same-sex couples. There are. I actually watched one last year that was all about. It was a complete Kwanzaa one. So I was actually schooled about Kwanzaa. And so that one was actually cool because I was like, there was something there I had no idea. I was like, well, all right, cool. Because I don't put them on for the value. I put them on because I'm wrapping Christmas presents, and it's like Christmas spirit, yay, everything's happy. So, but yeah, now they're, even from the beginning when I first started watching them to now, they've even become more and more diverse. So, I mean, they're learning and growing and changing or something. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Unlike America. What?
Speaking of learning and growing and changing, A Christmas Melody includes probably the best soundtrack of all the films. And
yes,
I think that
I actually noted that.
Yeah, that is another, I think, motif of obviously Christmas movies is Christmas type songs. But it's so blatantly obvious when it's a generic, not real Christmas song that all those other movies, it pulled me out. Now with the, I'd be interested to see what the budget was on Christmas Melody, because those songs wouldn't have been cheap. But I'm sure Mariah Carey probably was a producer on that one as well as a director and threw in all kinds of Nick Cannon's money.
I think she's got her own money. He's shelling out so much in child support right now. He could be as Christmas movie cast.
She's using her own money for fun things. She's using Nick Cannon's money for her career.
He's got the 12 Days of Christmas of Children. He can have a kid for each.
Oh my!
Oh, she's gold.
Whoops.
You're gold, Jackie.
Oh.
It was interesting. In A Christmas Mail, the lady that's in the band was a horrible singer. She was a bad singer. She sings like I sing. But then you go into A Christmas Melody, the little girl who's singing does a pretty good job. Like, she's not bad.
I don't think she was actually singing. I think the girl was lip syncing. I don't think she was singing that at all. That might have actually been Mariah Carey singing.
Not the actual thing on stage. Like, that could be
okay.
ADR. But like when she's just singing to the main hunk guy back
Right,
and forth
right.
doing that.
When they're coming up with the song together.
Yeah, I think that could have been more of her. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that would make some sense. But that was definitely not her at the end.
Oh, no, definitely not. So, Jackie, do you have any WTF moments that took you out of any of these movies? Did you watch all these movies, by the way? All three of them?
I watched two of them. What was the third one?
There was the Christmas Melody, which is Lainey.
Right.
Was that Lainey or Lacey, whatever her name is, from Party of Five, who's like starred in 30 Hallmark films.
Lacey Chabert.
Yeah.
Yep.
I watched that one, and then I watched the
dog one with
The
Jenny
awesome
Garr.
dog one?
the other one.
The other one was
Awesome dog
a
one.
Christmas mail that takes place at a post office primarily.
No, I watched that one. The third one. I watched the Mariah Carey, the male one, and I don't know what the
The
third
one
one
with the
was.
dog.
You didn't watch the dog one?
You went and worked
Oh.
out. You
Oh.
saw the beginning
Sorry,
of it, and then you asked me how it
yeah,
ended, and I said I didn't watch it. So now, how did that one end for my wife?
Whoa. You know how it ends in the first 5 minutes.
I want to know if I'm right. So with that one, and I guess, and I could be totally off because this would be not of the cookie cutter thing, but did she take the job and then the hunk go with her, and then her mom went and lived in the vineyard? Was that how it ended?
No.
No.
Nope. She gives up.
Exact opposite
She
of
gives
that.
up the job.
She gave up her job
She did give up the
because
job.
it's lucrative to have a vineyard for only 40 years. It's been in my family for 40 years. That's not a long time.
Right.
Like, he could definitely give that up.
You know what? He'd probably make more money if he held weddings there.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, like the one that they were shelling out to have.
Yeah. And he even said that he's gotten plenty of offers to sell, but he just doesn't want to sell. And I'm like, okay, this is setting it up. He has plenty of offers that he wants to sell. She got a job in New York. Perfect.
Right, that would be where it would go. I did see one that she actually did go. There was like her family had a lodge in Colorado, and she wanted to be an event planner in Vegas, and they got the job, and she did go.
What'd the dude do?
So he was like a rock star, and he had gone solo, and his family was all mad at him, and she used to manage their band, so they got back together, and he's going back with the band, and guess where they're going to do shows? Vegas!
Other question for you.
Yes.
What are some of the jobs the men have had in these movies?
Lumberjack.
Okay, that's definitely one I was going to ask about.
There's like the lumberjack. There's like the town handyman. The
plumber?
One firefighter was one. That's a good one. That one had a cat.
These are all fucking porn setup movies.
Piece of Larry got.
There was one where she was in the military, but I don't think
I've seen that one too.
watching that. I haven't. What have you been doing?
you know, those 10-minute showers. You know what I do.
Oh, well, no. That's wait 10 minutes. Why get free?
Jackie, whenever he like clicks away from a link, that's because he's watching a Hallmark movie.
Gotta finish watching that real quick in private. Right.
Yes. Speaking of watching things in private, I would probably watch more of these movies out in the open. I don't think they're that bad. I'd like to see some of these modern ones.
Yeah. So when I start rapping coming up, you'll see them because, like I said, that's kind of because it's easy to watch and I can pay attention, kind of, sort of, and still get to know what's going on. And then there's always the Christmas carols and all of that stuff. So
well, you said that a lot of these
them.
use the same sets and same vehicles, like they're kind of shared university type stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff recycled. And like the joke that somebody had shared with you about them coming up with the second plot line.
Was that
and then like I
Alan?
had to make the joke
Alan's
back
meme.
to figure out the first plot line. So a lot of them have like had read something about the joke, and it was like what has like how did it go? It was something like 5 characters, 3 trucks, 2 towns, and 5 guys, and it was like a Hallmark movie. Or like
That
a
makes
like
sense.
a
Yeah.
Christmas season. It was it's the same characters and the same. I mean, there was one like Candace Cameron Bure, however you say her last name. She's in one that I
Kirk
watched.
Cameron's sister.
Yeah.
Full
Well,
House girl.
because she
DJ.
does
DJ. Yeah.
there's other things on the Hallmark Channel, like during this like the regular seasons, she does stuff there. So these are all like recycled people. So she did one, and she worked in a shoe store. Or no, a department store, and she sold shoes or something. So yeah, that was a fun one.
I had a WTF moment watching a different movie as we turned it on earlier, Jackie, because I wanted to like watch a whole bunch. You know, I do deep dive hardcore research for this podcast.
Hold on. Time out. Jackie, did he actually like did he stay awake the whole time, or did he fall asleep?
No. Did I?
What? Did you fall asleep? I feel like no. I left because you were being a grumpy. You were critiquing the whole one, but when I put them on, yes, you do fall asleep. The one during the day I had left. So
what's her name? Lacey Cuthbert. What is it?
Lacey Chabert.
Lacey Chabert. You know, Lacey was from the show Party of Five, which was on Fox many moons ago. Party of Five was 5 siblings. One of those siblings was some dude named Scott, I think, something like that, right?
What,
Scott
Wolf?
Wolf. There you go.
Guess who my favorite character was?
I flipped on a Hallmark movie, and I saw both Lacey and Scott in the scene together, and I'm like, this is going to get weird. But it didn't. They were still brothers, and they were brother and sister in that one. So that was a Scottish Christmas, which I thought of you, Alan, because I saw
Scottish?
people in kilts.
Was anybody okay? They actually worked out.
No, it was, yeah. They were children of the Duchess who didn't tell them she was the Duchess. You know, the whole just dumb, like, fake drama.
Oh, like you do.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm a Duchess, I'm not going to tell my children that I'm a
exactly.
Duchess. Come on now.
They really do like to do that other country royal thing, because there's at least 3 movies that I know of for sure where either he or she is royalty and doesn't. Usually it's him, though, because then she ends up like coming in for the family to help with something, and then it's like she's not good enough or whatever, and then they defy all odds and everything is merry and bright.
Oh,
but not gay usually.
that reminds me.
Oh, this episode is brought to you by Folgers. Folgers, good to the last drop. Folgers, nasty gross. You can find it in your local grocery store. Folgers.
There were 2 shots, man.
Folgers.
At least 2 shots of Folgers.
Like full-on close-up shots.
Hitchcock Notorious, shot of the wine, extreme close-up, beautiful shots of Folgers.
I will say that I don't drink coffee, but when my wife drinks coffee, she picks Folgers because it has a nice aroma and a good taste. And Folgers is the coffee that you should have in the morning. Folgers.
Good to the last drop? Or was that
Good to the last drop? I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
Well, but just start waking up with Folgers.
Jackie, that's the single guy from your past. That's good to the last drop.
I see that. That could be true.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we are a Christmas story. We're a Hallmark movie.
Well, we were at Christmas. we were the other kind of movie you're mentioning.
Hey, that was the second. That was the second date. On the first day, we had 2 dates the first day, but we were not going to go there.
You're gonna have to edit this.
No,
part
we're
out.
not.
Alan,
you're just like you
Alan,
you are my
I
work
feel
wife. You want to take out all my good things.
Alan, I need an adult.
Don't look over here.
Seriously.
So, okay, Jackie, I have a question. So, for these movies, the woman doing the job, they say that she does the job. Do they actually show her doing the job, or is it just she does the job by name?
It depends on the job. Like, so one of them, she gets hired by a very wealthy family to decorate the house for Christmas so they can sell the estate. So that one, yes, she actually is doing the job of decorating for Christmas. So if it furthers the plot line to show her doing the job, then yeah, it shows. But if she's designing a website, like you may see a scene around her computer clicking away, but not like doing anything.
Oh, so that's even better than Christmas Mail, or not Christmas Mail, Christmas Wedding Tale, because she's an art curator and she does nothing with art at all. Like she just does it by name, and they name drop the MoMA and the MOCA, and that's it.
Clink will not let this go.
In Christmas Melody,
No, I will
in
not.
Christmas Melody, at least Lacey's character is designing the costume.
Yeah.
So, but it furthers the plot,
Yeah.
right? So it's
That's
driving
true,
for creating costumes for all the kids, and then that draws the kids together. So
It's okay that she gives up her
Yeah,
dreams because then she can do it in a small scale town where no one will actually know about it.
But here's what kills me is so much of this. Well, and a lot of this was the COVID Zoom stuff, because now so much of the stuff is like, oh, I can do this from anywhere. She
Yeah.
could design all of these clothes from anywhere and send them.
Yep.
So
She got the job without even being there. She got the job because they
Even
showed her.
Poe
But now they want her to
Oh.
do it.
Yeah.
Here's my friend's lookbook. Would you hire her?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can be in Podunk, Ohio, where nothing
Yep.
actually, by the way, Silver Falls, not a real
No.
place. Kate looked it up.
At first, I was like,
Silver Lake.
where Chappelle lives, but that's Yellow Springs.
No, that's Yellow
Yeah.
Springs. It's different.
Falls,
Yeah.
Hill Springs, Yellow Shower. No, wait.
Wait, whoa.
There's a reason I married her.
Not bad.
Should I extend the rule to Jackie? Is that
Nope.
what's happening right now for this
Don't eat the
episode
yellow
of the Hallmark
smell.
episode?
Yeah, don't eat yellows. Yeah.
So Jackie, my rule for Vanderpool was he's not allowed to cuss.
I tried so hard not
And he
to.
and he
I'm just
failed.
saying. I'm saying.
I'm
saying.
not. I don't cuss often. I just innuendo a lot.
So do you remember in A Christmas Mail, Emily, the daughter, is trying to hook up the dude.
She's not the daughter. She's the niece.
The niece is trying. And
Yeah.
the scene where the old lady neighbor comes over is one of the most awkward things I've ever seen in my life, because she was DTF.
Yes.
She was DTF.
Yep. He was totally
Yes.
into it. And I
Oh, that was
maintain
weird.
that the boyfriend and Kathy and Jimmy should have gotten together. They actually had chemistry earlier.
Yeah, they did.
Get that May December thing going there.
What's her name? Crap. What's her
Movie
name?
are you talking about?
Nikki? Sorry, Christmas Mail. Nikki North? Is that her
Christy
name?
North. Santa's
Christy
daughter.
I was alliteratory. So Christy North.
It's Peter
if
North's
she's
sister.
Santa's daughter.
Oh, you stole my line.
Anyways, if she's
Sorry. Sorry, Alan.
But if she's Santa's daughter, then she's got to be way older than she actually is. So I thought they were foreshadowing with that old lady
Nice.
that this is going to happen.
I was wondering with that though, because I didn't watch the end of that, and you had made a comment where we were watching, like, this is a really just a crappy version of Elf.
Yeah.
Because she kind of talked like that she was like almost made it sound like she was adopted and everything was too small or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, then I was wondering, then if that's the case, then she wouldn't be too old. But I didn't catch if she was actually like, did they go into that anymore to say if she was like adopted or?
Well, no, they
No.
just called. She called him Dad, and that was it, really. And she mentioned that the little kids' table for the tea parties was
Made her think of home.
Yeah. And she has many brothers and sisters, but she
Right.
didn't mention whether or not she was adopted.
But it kind of weirdly innuendo, or well, she like kind of referenced that almost by saying that everything was almost too small for her.
Yeah.
Unless she was just a giant born of little ones.
She's a
So-
mutant.
There you go. It's a Christmas
There you
mutant.
go.
I mean, miracle. I don't know.
Alan,
That was a-
Alan, it's 2023. Do you know
Yeah.
what your children
Right.
are? Are they dirty muties?
Yeah,
Duty
actually, I like to think that that old Christy North is one of the children from the Mexican Santa Claus movie that has escaped and is now on the earth. Santa's
Oh, God.
elves in this movie are all kids taken from around the world. And it's a Riff Track / Mystery Science Theater 3000 favorite. They've done it twice now, and the kids are are all acting as Santa's servitors in the role of the traditional elves.
So, wait, I have a bone to pick with you, Alan. I'm kind of upset now because we were having some issues thinking about what to do this year. And you've come up with 2 movies that sound amazing. And we were talking about Hallmark movies now. You got us talking about Hallmark movies.
We'll watch them next year.
Jackie, thank you for coming. I appreciate your insight. But, Alan, what the hell, dude? You're slacking.
I told
Next
Michael
year.
I wanted to watch. There was one that came out last year called Violent Night with
Oh, yeah.
the guy from Stranger Things. And I'm like, well, you guys can all pick a Christmas movie, a Hallmark movie, and I'll pick Violent Night, and then we can do that.
It's Die Hard.
Yeah,
for
it was
Christmas.
I'm like, I even told my mom, I'm like, I want to watch that. She said, doesn't actually sound bad.
So, Alan,
Because it's Die Hard.
Alan,
Yes.
one thing we haven't done yet, and I don't feel like will be an episode of because you watched
Whoosh.
Starcrash without it. I don't have any good quotes.
I have
These were
some.
very unquotable films, in my not so humble opinion.
I have some.
I'm talking to Alan. I'm
Okay.
talking to Alan.
Oh,
Everyone has
Go
to
ahead,
steal
Dr.
Alan's
Love.
thunder. I did it, so I'm giving it back. Alan, I took it from you, and I'm giving it back.
All right. So the quote that I picked out that summarizes the whole thing is, "Don't worry, I'm a city girl. This small town is not for me," which is from A Christmas Wedding Tale. It just captures everything perfectly.
Yes.
because it's the best movie.
My favorite was the Mariah Carey when she introduces herself and she's like, she says her name and it's the hyphenated, and then she's like, does the whole thing, and then she's like, my husband's a dentist. And I was just like, that's fantastic. Because it was like, I don't know how I want to, like, I don't know why it stuck, but it did, because it was so like anti of the movie. Or maybe like even actually like her identity revolved around the guy. So maybe it was like actually the thesis of all of the movies. Like all of it, like, oh, my identity revolves around the fact that my husband is a dentist. So now I can afford all these lovely things for my child.
Or she's boning Herbie the Misfit Elf.
Whoa, shared universe. Real quick, Mariah Carey has some weird looking hands.
Wow. She is a national holiday treasure,
Wow,
sir.
she's got man hands.
I don't know why you're
dude,
attacking
and
her.
I take back everything I did as a 13-year-old boy to her videos.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you were using your hands, not her.
That's true. You were. Alan, what was your quote? Did you have a quote?
You already gave us a quote, you drunk ass.
Did he?
Well,
Did he?
You did.
I'm not drunk.
I
You're
had
drunk.
that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it
have
was
one.
the,
I have two.
let's see, we could get a few. Fine, go ahead.
One of mine. I see a lot of me in you, so don't. I see a lot of me in you, so don't make me not see me in you.
Oh, I thought that was C-U-M at the end. I thought you were going to spell C-U-M at the end.
No, that was from Christmas Mail. And then later
course
on
it was.
in the thing, it was, you will never see me in you. See me in you. That's
Tell
even
me
worse.
Tell me it was the guy saying it to the girl.
No, it was the first one. The I see a lot of me in you, so don't make me not see me in you is the manager telling the subordinate about that. And
I
then
remember
the subordinate,
that one, yeah.
is you will never see me in you is the guy, the assistant manager telling the manager that.
I remember that.
I thought those were perfect.
There's also, I'm grooming you, Matt. You're being groomed. Which has a very dark meaning now, of course. But anyway.
And that's why I don't think this is a Hallmark movie, because you have the actual conflict that's actually got stakes to it. You have the very, very dark kind of weird kind of dialogue where Hallmark movies, I noticed, don't really have that, right? That right, Jackie? There's really not a lot of innuendo or things like that.
Yeah, no, there's not usually anything like that. But this actually, we looked it up. I don't think this was actually a legitimate Hallmark production.
It's not.
No.
Alan
Yeah,
Scouse
Alan
is
Peter.
okay.
It's a
I
Hallmark
loved you.
type movie. It's a dollar store Hallmark movie.
It's a discount Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
We got enough of Wish. It's the Wish version of Hallmark.
Yeah,
I think
that
I
worked.
figured out. I think I figured out what I wrote down for my quote. And
Oh, that's
this
good.
is, and I'm sorry, this is Sally Covington, who is the African American woman in A Christmas Mail, says to Christy North. She says, "You don't have a home, you don't have a man, you don't have a family, and you just fine with that? Two? No, that's a question mark, not a two. And you just fine with that?"
Because the woman has to have a man. Duh. That's how this
Yes.
works.
I think these are all like very, very not good representation of modern females.
Well, I have a theory. So, Vanderpool,
Which one?
for porn.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mike
Thank you.
Vanderpool. For porn, what do you get out of porn? What's the end goal? The end goal is what?
Should I be comedic and maybe not have sex with my wife again ever, or should I be honest?
No, I'm saying like it's a satisfy need, right? Like a physical need, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that-
So Jackie, what's the goal of Hallmark movies?
You're
Is it just-
looking for here. It satisfies an emotional need.
It seems
Is that-
like it, right?
So it's interesting because there is some dialogue about this out there about how like women read romance novels and guys like to make fun of them, and it's like, well, why wouldn't women like to read romance novels? Because the guys listen to them, they appreciate, and all this stuff. And so it's like, it's kind of like the guy going, well, my wife never cleans my pipes like that plumber lady does or whatever. So it's the kind of the same thing. Like, I get what you're saying, is
Fantasy.
it's the same type of stuff that, like, it's the, well, this guy pays attention to her and he thinks she's beautiful and says all this stuff, yada yada yada. So it's same, just the flip of the coin, so to speak.
Yeah. Alan, is there a discussion about this in folklore at all, or is this not a folklore thing?
It's not a folklore thing, but media studies has talked about this for quite a while in connection with soap operas, and the entire genre of melodrama too, where the entire idea is to kind of get at this idea of it's pretty much to grant that feeling of catharsis that watching any thing that makes you feel something is about. And it's something to do while you're wrapping presents. So, I mean, they've been like with entertainment, it's it fits into the situation that you watch it in.
Well, and it works, like I said, because I know what's going to happen every movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun
Right.
to make the guesses, the predictions, and as it progresses, like I think last year was the first year I've ever seen one where the lady did take the job.
Yeah.
And so to even see that from year to year is like, oh, they're doing new things, and then like last year was a year that there was it was like some kind of designing, like Christmas decorating competition, and it was like sibling against sibling, but one of the siblings was a gay male couple and the other was like a heterosexual married, and I think they were like, was like brothers. And so
What?
and they were like taking like the family.
Candace Burr wasn't in that one.
No, she
Candace
was
Burr wasn't in that one.
No, was not.
No.
Which, and there's actually been comments about that, about how they're like, well, Hallmark's now, I don't want to say like deviating from their clean cut, wholesome image.
Gay people have money too.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's the reality of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think they even had like the gay couple even had a child, like an adopted child or whatever. Like, it was very like representative. But it was so deliberate too. You know what I mean? It was the only thing that would have made it more deliberate was if the gay couple would have been biracial or interracial.
Right.
And it would have been like, oh, we're checking every single box that we can to make this diverse.
And
But-
we all know the Hallmark is all about subtlety.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, he was not.
So,
Oh,
Alan, I have a question for you. The new Spider-Man movie comes out. Do you know what's going to happen before you even go in the theater?
I don't think so. I mean,
Really?
not at this
You don't think
point.
Spider-Man's going to win?
Well, I know that.
I know, but you yeah. Shenanigans, webbing shenanigans. Spider-Man wins, learns a lesson.
Illusion of choice.
Spidey sense.
Right, the illusion that they have a choice.
Illusion of
saving-
choice.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but there's also magic and science in there, right? And then for all these Hallmark Christmas movies, magic is in there like crazy. Like this is not in the real world at all, right?
it's, I would say like 4/5 of them, because some of them don't have you. I'm always kind of waiting for the magic character to see if it's there, but they're not actually always a magic character. And there's not always like a snowstorm, because there's like, I was saying to Mike the other day, there's like a broken down truck, a snowstorm, or and sometimes it's like they get the truck working, but sometimes Santa gets the truck working, or the, magic figure or whatever. And so it's always curious to see like when exactly is that going to be. There was the one last year had a couple they were actually going through like divorce therapy before deciding if they wanted to separate. And they their therapist kind of tricked them going to this town, and the hotel, or like the bed and breakfast, was a gay couple, but they actually knew that the therapist was repeatedly sending people there, and then they were doing all this little bit of trickery to kind of help their marriage. So at one point they get like locked in the shed together kind of thing. And it's a big shed. It's like they ask him to go get the decorations out or whatever. And then at the end you find out that it wasn't a magical figure or anything. It was literally the therapist was working in cahoots with these bed and breakfast owners. So, and then he was like Hispanic and he was like super white guy, so business, and like he was decorating the house that they were building together and wasn't asking her opinion on anything. And so there is like, if it's not officially a magic character, there's somebody almost, not always, but almost always in the background working something.
Well, in
Unethical is what you could say too.
Yes.
But Santa's never unethical when it's him. He's just a creepy janitor
Santa
talking
is
to a woman.
incapable of that.
Exactly. He's making friends. He's inappropriately talking to a person, and it's all good. It's fine. He's Santa. It's okay.
So in A Christmas Wedding Tale, it's the kids that plot the them getting back together, resolving the whatever by getting them in the same place, same time. Is there any magic in that one?
At the behest of the animals.
Yes.
There's telepathic
yes.
animals.
They're no. Okay, Jackie, have you ever seen what was it? Milo and Otis, or
yeah.
Okay, so
Homeward Bound.
Yes, Homeward Bound. Thank you. Yes. Same thing. Same thing,
They
right?
don't
didn't
have bark to communicate
or meow.
Right.
So
No,
stupid,
they just
dude.
talk.
I'm not. How would you watch those movies as a kid? That's just so dumb.
You didn't like Homeward Bound?
No.
You never saw Homeward Bound.
What?
No, I watched
You never
Lassie
saw
and
it.
Fox and the Hound, and they both scarred me from watching any more animal films.
That's true. So Jackie, real quick, Milo and Otis, the cat drowned a few times. They had a few cats. They went through a few cats. And
Did they?
and
Well,
This is the Christmas special, Clink. What the freak are you doing, man?
Hey, language. I told you about this.
At
Okay.
least it's not Old Yeller. Old Yeller is the worst of all of those movies.
I've never seen that
Yeah.
one
Oh
either.
man, so
I've never
sad.
seen that one. Nope.
Worst. He shoots his own dog.
Spoilers!
Hey, so
Hey, Jackie, is this your first podcast?
Everybody knows how Old Yeller ends,
I
for
didn't.
crying out loud.
he
I
didn't.
didn't.
And I
Why
wanted
you
you
didn't?
to
It's like the end of Dexter when
You
his son
didn't
shoots
tell
him.
me
Oh,
Homeward
spoilers! Who
either.
cares?
Then put
God.
Old Yeller spoiler alert on it.
Dexter equals Old Yeller. Anyway,
So M. Night Shyamalan, this is a tangent. M. Night Shyamalan was on a talk show,
I'm
and he
so
said
glad
that
I brought the
there
whole
is
bottle.
there is no time limit on spoilers. So if you give the spoiler to Sixth Sense, that's still a spoiler, and he doesn't like
Hey,
that.
spoiler alert, Sixth Sense sucked.
Oh, it was good.
Till the
For the
aliens
first
showed
time.
up and I started laughing my ass off.
think that was
That's not it.
Soggy.
That was fine.
That's not
Sorry.
it at all.
The worst was that the lady in the lake or whatever, where she was some sprite lived in their pool at their rundown hole. Whatever. Do you remember that? It was an M. Night Shyamalan. It was like the weird, like that. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
The lady in the lake. Was that what it was called?
I think you're
Yes,
right.
it was that.
This thing has gone
Yeah,
all
that
the
was-
way off the rails.
Okay, so I have a question, Alan.
Yes.
What's a groupie for a band?
Why are you asking me what a groupie is? Especially
Just answer the question. Ask the
a
question.
groupie is a young lady who follows the band and desperately wants to have sex with the members of the band.
Okay, so
Sometimes
Christmas mail.
creating plaster casts of their genitalia and so forth, if we are to believe stories of the 70s.
in Christmas mail, the niece asks if she can be a groupie, and
Yeah.
the uncle says no.
I can like that was. I guess if I was gonna have a WTF moment, that would have been it. Because I remember being like, "Whoa,"
That's
Yes.
inappropriate, yes.
especially because it's like her uncle, right?
Mhm.
Yep, it's super inappropriate.
Wow.
I mean, that one was. Oh no, that wasn't the one in Ohio. Never mind.
No.
I do have a
Mhm.
quote, and the quote here, I think
okay.
that this quote, Clink, is what you were hoping would become of me not swearing. I think you had a plan for this episode, and I think I fucked it up by swearing.
yeah.
So I'm going to take a quote here from a Christmas Melody. This is Santa, or the janitor, says this to the little girl: "If you act negative, you can't expect a positive result." And that's what I learned.
We're doing that already?
No, I got another thing I learned. That's just. I'm hoping to get us a little bit closer to the end of this monstrosity. It's a quote. Cheers.
Is it? I have a question for everybody. Is it ethical for you to get to a person, woman, man, whatever, partner, potential partner, by going through their kids, by getting to get their kids to like them to the point where the kids are like, "Hey, you should be with them." Is that ethical,
No, I don't think that would be ethical.
Yeah, that's
Jackie?
creepy. Creepy.
Yeah, right. That's what happens in Christmas Melody. Like, dude likes her from high school, and so he goes after the. I mean, he doesn't go
The
after
kid's
the kid.
got talent,
Like, he's
though.
actually
The kid
nice.
has
The
talent.
kid actually, look, mine. I thought the kid more went like because she was more plotty. Because she remember in her thing she was
Yeah.
talking
Mhm.
about somebody. So I was like, and she played off of the fact that he remembered her to get her niece or her daughter the little audition. So I almost want to flip it on that one. She was more of the
Okay.
although he's super like old time psycho. Like he's like she remembered me at the one point when she was like, "Oh, you were Johnny on the spot" or whatever they
Mhm.
called him.
Yeah,
And-
Danny on the
and-
spot.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danny
Danny
Collier
and
is
then
his
like after
name.
she walked out, he was like, "Oh,
Yes.
oh, she remembered me." That was like, "Ooh, that's creepers for
When
sure."
we first meet Danny Collier in A Christmas Melody, he is sitting at the little diner that is owned by the Lacey character's aunt. He's wearing
Who's the witch from Hocus Pocus?
Also, the nun from Sister Act.
Yes, that's where I know her from.
He's wearing a flannel shirt, very lumberjacky. Not Jackie lumber, like lumberjack,
yeah, you got
as a
lumberjack
lumberjacker. And he's having a conversation with the woman who he's probably going to end up sleeping with, her aunt. The aunt is a little loosey-goosey, kind of free, kind of fun, and I'm pretty sure that she masturbated to Danny Collier. And this whole thing just got really weird. The movie.
Yeah, that's why I say they should get together. I made a similar relationship, Kathy to Jimmy and this guy. It'd be great. The voice of Peggy Hill boning this small town music teacher would be perfect.
Who's
Wait
the
a
voice of
minute.
Peggy Hill?
Wait a minute. Back up.
Kathy
Yeah.
and
What are you
Jimmy.
talking about?
Kathy
Is she
Mitchell.
really?
Yeah.
The witch from Hocus Pocus and also from Sister Act?
Because Lacey was the first year was the voice of Meg from Family Guy.
And
I'm
looks
not sure how
and
famous
looks like
they-
Lauren Boebert before she lost her soul.
Jackie, cover your ears. Lauren Boebert's so bloody hot, dude.
I don't understand who that is. Who is that? What is happening?
Lauren Boebert is a representative from. She's representative from Colorado who is a right-wing psychopath and has recently gotten into trouble for being on the verge of giving her new boyfriend a handy in the theater while they were seeing Beetlejuice.
I love that word.
Alan, they're not right wings and they're not left wings. They're conservatives and they have valid points too. Come on now, let's play in the middle of the aisle so we can have all of our proper audiences. I think in big picture here, sir.
Yeah, yes, our vast conservative audiences. Yes. That put up with our nonsense. Yeah.
You needed some of them
That
earlier.
house in A Christmas Melody that she moves back into her dad's house is the whitest house I've ever seen in my life, dude.
It is pretty amazingly white.
Okay, so again,
there's a metaphor for all these films.
So Jackie, again, question for you, because her boutique went under, so she has no money. So
right,
if her boutique went under, she has no money. She moves back to Podunk to Ohio, and she's living in this giant house. How is that a normal thing for these Hallmark movies to have these crazy? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's always some kind of like family home. The one at there's castles. And the one that was on today, that it wasn't one of the three. You just had it on in the background.
Yeah, it was only the Duchess, and she was there with Scott Wolf and.
No, it wasn't that one. Or at least I didn't see him in this one. It was just it was like her parents were out of town or whatever and came up. It was halfway to a mansion kind of thing, like big, huge, all window front of the back of the house or whatever. And then it was almost I don't catch, but the parents gave her a key and it was like your new house on Evergreen Lane, of course. And I don't know if it was that house or a different house because it sounded like the parents were maybe moving to Florida or something. And so they gave her this ginormous house. So there is always some aspect of money floating around somewhere. And there's almost always a deceased parent too of some sort. It's got that kind of Disney aspect to it where there is always in the one, the dogs talking the Christmas tales or whatever, it was the mom's husband her dad had died recently. The one, and then her husband had died, correct? That's why she was marrying.
Everybody dies.
Everyone dies.
Right.
Everybody
dies.
And
then Lacey's in the Melody, her husband had passed away because they asked what had happened. He had asked what happened, and she's like, he died.
And they don't really ever say died of what, do they? They're just
no,
yeah.
Not that I recall, no. But so yeah, there's always somebody's dead. There's a big house, and then it snows. Sometimes more.
Which, by the way, in Christmas Melody, two things about that. One, Emily's 9 in that, so the little girl, the daughter, is 9 in that movie, and she says that her husband, her father, dies when she's 2 years old, and she said that that's part of the reason why she moved back to Ohio. But Emily's 9 now, and she was 2 when her husband died, so that's not a reason. It doesn't take 7 years for you to, that's the reason why I moved back.
Well, she does say to be back around family.
Yeah.
So her boutique was going under and she realized that her daughter wasn't living around family or having the experience or whatever. Because that's kind of one of the theme-ish things too. There's the whole.
Yeah.
Yep.
But also
family helps you recover from failure.
Yep.
Oh, I met Jackie.
Oh, geez.
What? I didn't catch what you said.
I met Jackie. I had to come back here because I failed in Florida. We are a crew. We are a Hallmark movie.
I was here.
Yeah.
No, see, you came back here because I was here.
Because I failed in Florida.
Sorry.
If I had succeeded in Florida,
you're a real Hallmark movie.
You'd have given up your career to come.
Well, that would have been the Hallmark movie then.
Yeah.
Her giving up her career to move down.
Yeah.
That's how Hallmark movies are, apparently.
You're the girl in the Hallmark movie, honey.
I'm the girl in all of my relationships.
You're Lacey Chabert.
How many relationships do you have?
At least 3 in the room right now. That's not counting the shower. So what did we learn?
They get
Or
10
should we learn things now?
I have one more
Okay.
question. I have one more question for you two, for the two guys. Well, actually, anybody, I guess. But do you think the Hallmark movies are easier because the expectations are lower, or do you think they're harder because the budget is lower and the story is subpar?
As in to make them?
To make them, yeah, because they're good actors, but not the best actors too. And then the story obviously is very formulaic. So it seems like a lot of actors could take this because it's easier and it's easy money.
A Christmas Melody is a really good example of this. A Christmas Melody is the one of these that was competent, that we saw.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
It was really solid. And I think making that seems at least moderately hard. I mean, because we've seen two really crappy attempts that had all the parts of the formula, and yet were terrible. They just did not gel together. In some
Alan, I'm gonna have to
cases, it
stop
was
you there.
cheapness,
No.
like in Christmas Mail.
I'm gonna have to stop you there.
You can't stop them.
Yes, Christmas Mail was bad. I was gonna stop you there. The Wedding Tale one, amazing movie. You got dogs, you got kids. What's there not to like? Talking dogs.
No
too.
story. Wasn't shot well.
Whoa.
No story. The
that's
acting was
debatable.
actually pretty good in that one, in all honesty.
Nikki Cox was the other lady, the other person. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was in Star Trek. She was in the 90s. She was like a sex symbol for a little bit there. You don't know who I'm talking about? Look up Nikki Cox, Vanderpool.
Is that COX?
COX. Look her up.
Yeah,
You know who I'm talking about. I guarantee
She
you.
was in Star Trek 4.
She was in Star Trek 4?
Yeah, look on IMDb.
Because she was in Next
We've
Generation,
seen
too.
her. Yeah,
No
we've
way.
seen her
The
in a
people
movie.
in Star Trek didn't actually go from series to series. That didn't happen. I'm calling bullshit.
That happened a lot. That happened
Yeah, I
all
know,
the
that's
time, sir.
sarcasm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's sarcasm.
Jeffrey Combs is a prime example of that.
So can we learn things now? Or Alan, do you have any more?
Did you answer my question though, Vanderpool? Because Alan,
What
did.
do you what's the
Do
question?
you think these Hallmark movies were harder to make because of the story and the budget, or easier to make because of the low expectations for the acting?
I think that the major problem with the films is Christmas Wedding Tale didn't have a story. It was too convoluted. There was too much happening going on. Like the Tom Arnold thing popped in, then the dogs popped in, and then there was all the hijinks. Like it was too complicated. The production values weren't great either. The production values, even though the story was fairly simple on A Christmas Mail, the production values just ruined that completely. It's a simple story with decent production values. Because Christmas Melody, the production values were pretty good throughout. The music was good throughout. The only thing that was god awful was the cinematography in the car scene when they go from California to Ohio. That was just that almost threw me out of it. But then we came back in and everything else was pretty good. So simple story, good production values, a little bit of snow, a couple Christmas songs, and you can make a Christmas movie, Hallmark movie.
Jackie, with your vast knowledge of Hallmark, do you feel that you can make your own Christmas movie, Hallmark Christmas movie now?
Oh, of course I could. I mean, what?
No, I mean you're the resident expert right now. You're the person that knows everything about this. We just barely know stuff.
No, I mean, I could come up with a formulaic one. It wouldn't. I don't know that it would be great. It would probably take me like 2 or 3 seasons. Like by next year, I'd probably have a better one. But I mean,
I think I'm going to make my script a holiday play, a riff on Hallmark movies.
so like I was kind of laughing because when COVID happened, because there was all the production problems with all of that, somebody made the joke about if there isn't a Hallmark movie this year for Christmas about like a lady that makes Christmas candles getting on the wrong Zoom meeting with some high-powered executive where they get together to the wrong Zoom meeting and it's called a very COVID Christmas, I'm going to be upset. And I was like, that's a great idea. And I was looking for that movie to show up. So like, but it's there. Like any of these things that happen, you can wrap a Hallmark movie into it.
Oh yeah,
so,
definitely.
I mean, anything can be the dog, falls down the snowy hill into the frozen river, and there's your Hallmark movie because the guy saves him when he's cutting down the Christmas tree for the homeless family who has a tree but not a home. You know what I mean? It's like all like you could very much find it in any of it.
Yeah.
I think you just pitched 3 separate movie stars, and they all sound amazing.
I wish you would start writing.
You're gonna be my lumberjack?
Meow.
Lumberjacks don't say meow, just like you know.
I threw away my flannel shirt
a
today,
note.
Jackie.
Mike, would you say that you're a lumberjack and you work all day? You sleep all night and you work all day?
I've
Yeah?
chopped
Okay.
wood.
Alan,
Yes.
what did you
Clink.
learn?
So I learned
If this lasts 4 hours, I'm gonna go see a doctor.
that I learned that there is an actual hell on this earth, and it is captured by the words family honeymoon,
Oh, yeah.
which is
That's-
supposed
yeah.
to be, of course, the setup to a sequel to A Christmas Wedding Tale. And that sounds like the most soulless exercise in hell that I can imagine. Just no.
Not just a sequel, but an entire saga, because he talks about that, and then he talks about when they first moved in together.
With the worst kids, I think, ever. Oh, my God.
With the kid who's a cook who only can use a whisk, nothing else. Like when he got his Christmas present, he opened up a frog. I thought he was going to open up like a ladle or a serving spoon or a spatula. No, it was just a frog. Anyways, sorry.
Yes, but that was what I learned, that there is a hell worse than hell, and it's a family honeymoon with this terrible family.
Brady Bunch, Christmas Brady Bunch.
So, Jackie, we forgot to mention at the end of each episode, we talked about what we learned from these
She's
movies.
listened to us before.
I know, I listen.
We really screwed up here because we actually will be minus one viewer or listener because they're actually here with us today.
I'll do it.
And then there were 2.
Jackie, what did you learn from these movies?
I learned that the shower gets 10 minutes and I get 3. But
That's not very Hallmarky, but okay, we'll take it.
That is definitely not Hallmark.
It is a white Christmas.
Oh my God, Vanderpool baseball, sir.
sorry, my screen is shaking from laughing.
Mike, what did you learn?
I learned what happened to Jay Mohr's career.
Oh, that's sad. He's cool. I like him.
Yeah, but he didn't do much after Talking Dog and Christmas Mail.
Seriously, he didn't.
I don't think so.
I learned that Vanderpool actually watches more Hallmark movies than we thought. Because he kept going on and on about, oh, it's this one and this one. So, Jackie, you're a good influence, a bad influence? I don't know, but...
Bad influence of some sort. Well, yeah, he kind of... I watch all the stuff that he watches a lot, so when it comes to Christmas, but I think this is the first year that most of the time he just falls asleep when I have them on. And then wakes up at like 2 and says, are you done wrapping presents? Can we go to bed?
It's not just that. He falls asleep to all of our movies that we do.
Oh, yeah, I know. I watch them all multiple times because he falls asleep and I have to watch them because I can't not watch something all the way through.
Speaking of hell's worse than hell.
I have to apologize. I didn't learn anything because Jay Mohr had an illustrious career after this movie.
I told you, that guy's awesome. Jay Mohr, if you're listening, you should totally come on our podcast.
How could he possibly voice more things when he obviously... No, I'm not going to say it. I was about to say, how did he mouth his words? How did he mouth his words around the shotgun barrel that he clearly had in his mouth after?
Wow. So now we're not getting Jay Mohr on here because Alan had to be mean.
I hope he did really commit suicide.
That's the
Anyway,
only
continue.
reason.
I did learn something
Jay
else,
Mohr, we love you.
Clink.
What did you learn?
I don't.
What'd you
I
learn?
learned, and this is when Jenny Garth's character is talking to her Beau's character, and they're just throwing out, whimsical little facts and fun stuff. That 13 seconds is the longest flight of a chicken.
Yes.
But how long can they run around with their heads cut off? It's longer than they can fly.
About as long as I can last in the shower.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
10 minutes. Nice.
Fun fact, there was a chicken that got his head cut off, but it died from choking on a piece of corn.
Now that's what I've learned today.
Congratulations, Clay.
Did it run around long enough for it to come out in its poop?
You've spooled us all.
It was around for like months and weeks or months. I forget when it was, but yeah, because it wasn't fully decapitated; it was partially.
yeah.
So it still had blood going to its brain. It just couldn't use its vocal cords or anything. So it ate through the little hole in its neck. Anyways, this is getting gross, and we're trying to keep it Hallmark for the other
children.
People. Not the children. Hallmark movies are not necessarily for children.
I learned that if you have a dream, don't go back to your hometown.
And on that note, thank you, Jackie. You're a wonderful woman.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Jackie.
Good to see you guys.
Could you do us a favor and stand up for the thumbnail?
No.
What is that for? What?
You see, when a man loves something.
You want to explain it to the class or?
It's called
Pumpkin.
objectification, Clink.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's two reasons I
Oh.
wanted to do that, Clink.
I thought there was some on his shirt.
No,
I
No,
thought there was some on
I
his shirt.
have one your Surf City.
actually,
Shirt
there's
on.
three
Oh,
reasons
then
I
that
want
doesn't
her to
work.
do that. Two we're not going to talk about, and one is so that we get more clicks.
I was about to say Total Recall. What? Anyways.
Wow. Definitely wasn't last 3 minutes of that. On that note, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, however you choose to celebrate these wonderful holidays. From all of us here at Because You Watch Starcrash, me, Mike Vanderpool, Dr. Alan Barris, aka Dr. Love, Michael Klink, the artiste, and my beautiful wife, Jacqueline Vanderpool. Ho, ho, ho. Happy New Year.
Did you just call us close?